Hello everybody and welcome to a fresh new episode of Indie Game Sauna. My name is Juho. I'm a Finnish independent game developer and in this video series I review indie games. This week's game is Unusual Findings, which is yet again another point-and-click adventure game. What makes this game special? It's basically Stranger Things made as an adventure game. So let's go see what it's all about. Ever since I watched the first season of Netflix's Stranger Things, I've been convinced that it would make a great point-and-click adventure game. Official games have been seen in mobile devices and they do follow the trends of portable gaming, but luckily there is an alternative for those of us who grew during the 80s. The game also takes heavy influences from the classic adventure games in the same era, especially those made by LucasArts. Coded in big pixels, Unusual Findings is in many ways a trip down the memory lane to those sweet childhood memories. Having said that, Unusual Findings does have its fair share of innovation. The game can be completed several times as there are several different puzzles which are activated at random. This is a neat feature and it serves the game well. The story of the game is straight from Stranger Things. A mysterious meteorite falls on the outskirts of a small town and three kids are too curious for their own good. There's extraterrestrial activity, weird corporations and lots of references to the pop culture of the 80s. If you're into this kind of stuff, you'll feel right at home. Unusual Findings is a lengthy game, especially in the indie game adventure standards. I was convinced several times that I'm reaching a conclusion, but the game just keeps throwing curveballs at you. The length does get to you at some times, but overall Unusual Findings does give plenty of bang for your buck. The game leans more towards the puzzles, and for the most part they are pretty great. On a few occasions the game does pay homage to the 80s adventure games a bit too much, as there are puzzles that require some brute force. These are in the minority though, as the bulk of the puzzles are logical. You have three main characters at your disposal, but you only direct the main character Vinny, while the group's badass Nick and the mandatory nerd character Tony work as sidekicks. The majority of the story is delivered through the main characters and it works great. The hangarounds do have their uses during the adventure, but at their core Nick and Tony are plot devices that push the story forward. Other side characters do fill all the required roles of a game that takes influences from the 80s and works as the unofficial adventure game adaptation of Stranger Things. Every character is written well and they do fit great into the world they are living in. If you are a fan of Stranger Things and have a soft spot for point-and-click adventure games, this is definitely something you should check out. In order to enjoy this, you do need to have experience on adventure games, as Unusual Findings rarely holds your hand. This is exactly what I want from an adventure game, but for beginners this might be a bit too much. And thanks again for watching. If you enjoy my content, please consider subscribing for this channel. It would mean a lot. I also have my own indie game in the works, a 2D point-and-click adventure game called Hyperdrive In. This game takes place in an infinite hotel and it offers loads of replay value. The launch is set for October, but we already have a playable demo on Steam. All the relevant links can be found in the description, as well as a link to Unusual Findings Steam page. But that's all for today. I see you guys again next week, but until then, bye bye!